Hi folks, in this video I'm going to show you how I made these bow clutches. I made one without a strap and one with a strap. I think they're really cute, especially for summer parties. You can make the bow any way you like. If you prefer, you can put the loop in the center and have the bow equal on both sides. I like it offset a little. I think it's cute. So if you'd like to see how I made these, keep watching. So I thought before we get started cutting and sewing, I'd give you a list of the fabrics that I'm using to put on the mat to feed into the maker. So you're going to need one piece of lining fabric, 12 by 14. You need one piece 12 by 14 of your outside fabric with your heavy fusible interfacing installed on it before you feed it to the maker. And you need one piece 12 by 22 to cut your strap and your bow fabric and the tab for your bow, this little tab. So you need 12 by 22 in order to cut that. Besides that, you need coordinating thread, of course. You need a 9-inch zipper, whatever color you prefer. And you need a fabric marker or fabric pen to put in your maker to draw the seam allowance. I'm going to cut out all the pieces of my pattern, and I'll be back to show them to you before we get started sewing. So I have all my pieces cut on my maker, and I've pressed what needs to be pressed, and I'm going to show you what I've done. We'll set this aside. So you have two pieces that will become your ribbon on the front of the bag. You have a seam allowance drawn only on the two long sides because the ends will be sewn into the bag, so you don't need to close them up at the beginning of the process. We have two pieces for the lining. They also have the seam allowance drawn, and on one edge, long edge, I've pressed a 1/2-inch fold. This will go against my zipper. The same is true about the outside panels. You have your seam allowance drawn and the top edge is pressed down. We have our tab for our bow. It's pressed flat and to the middle so that it becomes a 1-inch tab in width, 1 inch in width. And we have our strap. The strap I made for the teal color bag, I made wider. I wasn't too fond of it when I went to install it. I found it quite bulky, but of course that's up to you. That's all about your personal taste. So if you prefer a wider strap, all you need to do is add 1 inch on the width of the strap in the file before you cut. But I wanted to have a narrower strap, a narrower wrist strap, so I did reduce it by 1 inch. So we'll set that aside. I've installed my zipper foot, so we'll go ahead and start with the zipper installation. So I'm going to take my zipper face down and my fabric with the pressed side up against my zipper. We'll try to center this. Okay, and we're just going to pin along to hold the fabric in place while we get started installing the zipper. So at your pull end, you want to open the zipper So close to the pull end, and then close it, stop, close it, and continue the rest of the way down. So that's what we're going to do. There we go, we have one side sewn in, and we're going to do the exact same thing with the second side. We'll pin it in place temporarily, line it up with the first side, pin it in place, and sew along the top stitch with the top stitch. Okay, I'm going to start sewing, sew a good part of the way down, stop again, open the zipper, and finish to the end. And there we go. We have our lining installed on the zipper. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing exactly with our outside panels. We're going to pin them in place, sew, open the zipper, finish sewing, and repeat the same thing on the second side. Now you have your zipper good side up. So here we go, we'll install our first outside panel. Okay, our outside panel is installed, and we'll do the second one. And there we go. And there we go. We have the outside of our pouch done. So the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to change back to my regular sewing foot on my machine, and I'm going to prepare the bow, the handle, and the tab for the bow. So I'll change out my zipper foot and I'll be right back. So to prepare our handle, we're going to sew just along both sides. No need to sew the ends. And this is prepared as usual by folding in half and then the top and the bottom to the center and folding over again. So we'll go ahead and get that ready. There we go, there's our handle. And for the tab that actually forms the bow, we're going to sew down both sides, then fold it good side in and sew along the raw edge. There we go. Now we fold it good sides together and join the ends. We'll turn this right side out to make our loop. I keep calling it a tab. It's a loop, and this is the loop that's going to shape the bow. That's ready. For the bow, we're going to now sew straight along the long side, along our seam allowance with good sides together, so you see the seam allowance on both sides. Okay, we're going to turn this right side out. You can actually, would be a good idea to trim off any excess fabric. We're going to now turn this good side out, and then we're going to press it nice and flat, because it would be very difficult to press it once it's on the bag as a bow. So you want to press it right away. And then we'll go ahead and shape the bow, and I'll show you how to attach it to the bag. There we go. I'm going to press this and I'll be right back. all set. So you can see on mine, I put the loop a little to the left. I thought it gave it a nice finish. Of course, you can put it in the center if you prefer, however you like it. It's your bag and it's how you like it. So what I did was fold the center up, kind of, pull it up, and the sides like that. So I got that kind of shape, and then just put the loop on it with the seam facing down, of course. And there we have our nice little bow. And we'll take our pouch. You want the outside fabric only. Make sure you're not pinning to the lining. And you want to place it on the front of your bag however you want it. So if you want the loop in the center so you have like a true bow shape on it, that's totally up to you. I like it a little bit to the left. So I'm going to place it to the left. Line it up wherever you like it. And I'll just put a couple of pins in it to hold it in place. Okay. And now is when we would install our handle also. So I'm going to fold it in half, decide where I'd like it to be. We're going to put the raw edges facing out and the loop in. And of course, it's totally up to you if you decide not to put a handle on it. That's completely up to you. We'll pin it in place. Actually, I think I'll pin it a little farther in so it doesn't get in the way at all of my seams. And there's my handle. So now you're all set up. You're going to take the second outside piece and fold it on top and line it up. Make sure your sides are nice and straight. I'm going to clip right at the joint where the zipper is. I'll do the same on the second side. Make sure it's lined up nice and straight. And you definitely want to make sure your zipper is open. Get everything lined up. And now you're going to sew back stitch from the edge all the way down across the bottom and back up the other side. I've put the bow a little lower than I wanted it, so I'm going to move it up a little. I don't want it to catch in the bottom seam. There we go. So straight down one side, across the bottom, and straight up the other side. Leave the end open so we can turn it right side out. And don't forget to open your zipper like I almost did. That wasn't good at all. There we go. Take out all our pins. We're going to trim up all the sides and cut off all this extra fabric and the extra tab from the handle that you don't need. Trim the corners on this good end so that you can turn it nice and fresh and nice and flush inside out, or right side out. There we go. I'm going to fold this end down and press it before I turn it right side out so that it will be nice and straight so I can close it up once I've got it right side out. Okay, so we're going to turn the bag right side out. Making sure to push out our corners. It's a little difficult with the heavy interfacing, and I usually need to press it again. Get that pin out of there. I usually need to press it again after, because the heavy interfacing does wrinkle. There we go. And poke out our corners. Make sure they're well pushed out. And we have our little strap. And as you can see, it needs to be pressed again. I'm going to close up the bottom of the lining, just with a top stitch all the way along. There we go. We'll push our lining in. And we can close up our zipper and see how cute it is. So there it is, the finished bow clutch. I need to trim these threads away. I hope you like it. I hope you'll make some and post pictures. Thank you for watching.